Everybody loves hunting scrapes. Let's face the facts. There are times throughout the year that are absolutely better than others when it comes to hunting scrapes, and there is a date range, I will say, I stop hunting scrapes. Now, does this mean that you will never kill a deer during that date range? No, don't take this as that, guys. But there is a date range in which I should start switching my strategies and hunting different locations and not banking on the scrape. So one of my favorite hunting strategies is finding the buck bedding area, whether it's the buck bed or the buck bedding area, and hunting the first scrape outside of the bed. Now, in order for those situations to work out, the deer needs to be in that bedroom, okay? Let's say I'm gonna hunt scrapes heavy that late October portion of the season, but then there is a hard shutoff for me. And it generally comes around November 2nd, 3rd, until maybe even the 15th, okay? And I know that sounds like a really weird time for you guys to hear me say, stop hunting scrapes. But here's what happens. That late October time frame, let's call it the last 10 days, 11 days of October, I'll hunt scrapes hard. And in fact, that is my favorite time of the year to hunt. You put me in the woods on October 20th, I can figure it out. I can find those scrapes, first ones outside of the bedding areas that I've already scouted out earlier in the season. And those are the areas that tend to be frequented the most by bucks because they're checking scrapes to find the first doe that comes into estrus. Once November 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th happens, they're chasing. They're actively chasing deer, does, and not necessarily checking scrapes as much. Now, notice I said earlier in this video, this isn't like a never hunt scrapes scenario. And in fact, if there's a scenario in which there's a really beautiful pinch point, or you have something else going for you and there's a scrape there as well, okay, hunt that area. But don't solely set up on a scrape November 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, thinking that deer are checking them, because during that time frame, deer are chasing. I think it is a lot less likely that deer will be hitting those scrapes, checking those scrapes, looking for breeding partners when they're running around rampant throughout the timber. Now, as we get into that middle portion of November and phase off into the later November, that second round of breeding is going to start to take place and deer will start to hit scrapes harder again. So there's a time frame in there, early November, in which I wouldn't focus a ton on scrapes. If they supplement the area, if they supplement the scenario, sure, let's hunt them, but let's not solely set up on hunting scrapes the first 10 to 15 days of November. So let's say that November 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 15th time has passed. When is it time to start hunting those scrapes again? Right around the middle of November time frame. Why? Because especially in an area where there's a big herd imbalance, a lot more does, that second rut phase, or even that second breeding phase, those bucks looking for those second does to breed, even during the first rut, they will start to frequent those scrapes again and see who is still in estrus. So there is a time frame, early November, in which I pretty much stay away from them, but come November 15th, 20th, 25th, and first week of December, I focus on them a lot more than I would, November 1st, 5th, 6th, 7th, especially that first week of December, which seems kind of counteractive to what I'm saying. Don't hunt them that first week of the rut. This would be the first week of the second rut. And that second rut, I think they're a lot more likely to hit those scrapes because the breeding frenzy isn't nearly as intense, meaning that they have to search for those does that have not been bred yet, meaning there's probably a better chance that the first week of December, you could hunt over scrapes. The last week, or the first week of November, not so much. Like I said, mostly for the reason that most of the does are bred, in majority, by that first week of December, give or take, a little bit of time. But don't be afraid to be hunting scrapes once December kicks back in if you find the scrape. And in fact, if you do find a scrape, it's a big deal that time of year. There's not as many scrapes as there is in late October. So if you find them in December, probably move your trail cameras to them, probably key in on those areas, probably even hunt those areas. But as for the time in which I stop hunting scrapes altogether, unless it supplements the area, for the most part, I'm staying away from scrapes between November 1st, 2nd, all the way to the 15th or so.